There's a story that goes along called the 13th God. Now, most people know about the Olympian gods and the Olympian goddesses. And they're acquainted with that there were 12 of them. But I'd like to tell you a story about the 13th. A god who did not associate with those 12. The Olympians ran the world and the heavens and thought they were all powerful, until they started hearing about that 13th god. Apollo, Eris, Donius, Hermes, Hephaestus, Poseidon, and Zeus all decided that even though this supposedly 13th god didn't deserve to even be spoken in the same sentence as them, they still wanted to meet. Well, Aphrodite, Athena, Artemis, Demeter, and Hera wanted no part of meeting what they described as an upstart, unimportant being who didn't deserve to be in their presence. There was much bickering and infighting between the male and female gods concerning the meeting of this 13th god. But seeing that there were 7 gods and only 5 goddesses, the gods sent a message to the 13th god inviting him to a get-together on Mount Olympus. In what some of the gods and all of the goddesses called a fit of arrogance, the 13th god sent back word that the meet would only happen if all of the 12 requested the meeting. Now, days, weeks, months, and years of infighting went on between the 12, but finally they all agreed to meet with this so-called 13th god, if for no other reason but to swiftly and finally deal out punishment for being so arrogant and not showing up when summoned. Well, the 13th god received the summons to appear on Mount Olympus to meet with the other 12 gods and defend his arrogant actions. Upon hearing that all 12 gods would be together to meet him, the 13th god agreed and proceeded to the meeting. Well, all 12 gods and goddesses were in their finest robes and gowns, with their powers at their peak, and were ready to show how powerful they were and finally dispose of this unworthy 13th god. When the 13th god showed up, they were surprised to see what looked like a frail, old human man. And they all started to laugh and say, "What is your name, you unimportant fool?" The 13th god smiled and answered, "Death." He breathed toward the 12 at that time, and all of those arrogant 12 died.